Now it is time to Connect to Congress, a segment where we talk directly with Washington lawmakers who represent us here in the San Joaquin Valley. Right now, we're talking with Democratic Representative of California's 21st Congressional District, Jim Costa, live from his office in Washington, D.C. Congressman Costa, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you, and it's always great to be on Great Day, as I like to say.
Thank you. We were just listening to Chris Kuiper's interview about the Chinook helicopters flying at night to help control the flames here for the Garnet fire. And I do understand that you have called on the Forest Service to mobilize more federal resources. We talked with a fire analyst for Forest Service who says there is a lot of dead, dry timber just north of the fire near McKinley Grove, which is a concern. What actions do you want to see immediately?
Well, two things are going on here, Kim. First of all, I've urged the Secretary of Agriculture to put all resources available to assist us on the Garnet fire. We remember several years ago during the Creek fire, it lasted over 2.5 months and consumed over 400,000 acres. As a result of that, we, several years ago, with the Inflation Reduction Act, set aside $1.4 billion for 10 high-risk landscapes in 8 western states, California among them. Unfortunately, some of that money has been diverted for retirement purposes. Other money has been put on a pause. And the website on the Forest Service is an agency, is a part of the Department of Agriculture in our country. So they are under the auspices of the Secretary of Agriculture. And so it just seems to me as USDA is trying to do their reorganization plan, which is a bit of a mystery since no one really understands the motivation for that, where they're putting their resources as it relates to the Forest Service on forest fire suppression and forest management. With these dead timbers that you raised, it's a real problem. That's an additional source of fuel that the fire consumes and makes it much more difficult to put the fire out.
You know, and I would love to talk with you for our entire interview about those efforts, but there are a couple of other topics I need to also ask you. First off, about that reorganization we've got going on with the Trump administration right now. The USDA is getting reorganized. How do you feel that California is being overlooked, and what do you think is at stake for Valley Ag?
Well, we're the #1 agricultural state in the nation, and the fact that this reduction of people that provide important services to our farmers, our ranchers, our dairymen and women are being not only restated to different parts of the country, to 4 different hubs, but none of the hubs are in California. And I've asked the chairman of the House Ag Committee to have an oversight hearing on what's the impetus and what's the priorities for the United States Department of Agriculture as they reorganize, and why their focus seems to be excluding California. And I'm very concerned as a representative of the #1 agricultural state in the nation that they're doing this, and we really need to have meaningful oversight to figure out what this all, at the end of the day, is going to mean to California agriculture.
Yeah, and we look forward to continuing our conversation with you about that as this progresses, because we certainly don't want to be forgotten. I understand that you visited the border this past weekend. What stood out most to you about the challenges that ICE and U.S. Customs officers are facing there?
Well, it's the multiple visits that I've gone to the border, both at McAllen and over in Tijuana, and to see what was happening in Nogales, in Arizona and Tucson. You know, obviously it is quieted, and that's part of the administration's effort, and you should give them credit for that point. We want to have strong borders that are reinforced and protected. But they're combating 62 cartels, as they explained to us, that made over $3 billion last year in human trafficking, drug trafficking, and weapons. And their efforts to take on the 62-plus cartels in Mexico is a challenge. And clearly, we want to make sure that we protect our country from that trafficking with these gangs. But at the same time, there's a tremendous amount of trade that goes back and forth between ourselves and Mexico. A lot of California companies, agricultural companies, are in both Mexico and here, and they're moving products back and forth, which is important for trade for both ourselves and for Mexico. 44% of California agriculture is exported, and 40% of that is between Mexico and Canada. 40% between Mexico and Canada. So we've got to maintain the ability to move products that benefit our economy.
Representative Jim Costa, we really appreciate your time this morning and also your understanding, because we had a few audio technical issues at the beginning. We appreciate your understanding.
Keep up your good work, Kim.
Thank you, sir. You too. Great day. We'll be right back.